me that. Give me that. Absolutely, you can give me that. If it's mine, if it's good for me, I want it all. Give me that Bible.
So tonight's dinner is going to be steak with gravy and rice. Right now I am cooking my steak, and I rinsed it off, cut some of the fat off of it. I didn't cut all the fat off because that's going to give it some of the flavor. Then I just threw my seasonings in there. I started off with butter, and the water, the juice comes from the water from the steak, and let the steak get tender. And I'm going to cover it, and after about 10-15 minutes I'll uncover it, cut it into smaller pieces, let it simmer for another 10 minutes, and then after that I take it out, and this juice in here is going to be the base for my gravy. So yeah, it's going to be homemade gravy. So the juice is seasonings, butter, water, and oil, fat from the steaks. So yeah, it's going to be bomb. So I'm about to cover this up and let it finish cooking. So it's been about 15 minutes. I don't know if y'all can see, but if you look here, see that? That's what's going to make the gravy. The meat is a little more tender. Let me back this up. There we go. It's a little more tender. I'm going to take it out and then start my gravy. So yeah, I'll come back and show you how I do that. I took my meat out, and this is what's left. It looks burnt, but it's not. This is what's going to make the gravy, and it's going to be bomb. So what you need to start homemade gravy is flour, your base like this, and you don't have to make your base from your meat. You could start over and just start with flour and water, but you need flour, water. If you're starting fresh, you're going to need oil to start it out with the flour, but since there's already butter in here, I don't need that. So all I need is my flour and my water and a whisk, and then after I get it the consistency that I want it, that's where this comes in at to season it. So you're definitely going to need to season it, because if you don't, you're going to have a nasty paste of just flour and water and grease. It's not the business. So anyhow, let me prep my ingredients, and then I'll show y'all how I make this gravy. So what you want to do after taking your meat out is you want to turn your fire back up, and you want to have a whisk, because this whisk is going to keep the lumps out of your gravy. Now I may not be able to do all this on camera, because when you're making gravy you have to work fast, and I don't think I could do that and work fast while recording. So anyhow, first you want to, like I said, turn your fire back up, not to the point where it's going to burn, but to where it's a good temperature. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my water. So pour a little water. Don't pour a whole bunch, just do a little at a time, and then you just start whisking with that water. And unfortunately my pan is lopsided, so I have to work. And as you can see already, see that it's getting thick just with the water alone. I haven't even added the flour yet. So add my water. I'm waiting for my fire to get hot again, and it's getting there. So I'm gonna turn my fire up. Turn my fire up just a little more. Add a little more water. Stir it again, and then I'm gonna start adding my flour. Now if you don't want flour, you don't have to use it. It's just basically to thicken it up. But if you like watery gravy, then you can just do water and your mix. But like I said, it's to thicken it up and to help it spread more. So see, it's getting hot. So let me pull that up a little bit. Now I'm gonna add my flour. Don't just dump it in there. You add a little at a time. So, and this is all purpose enriched flour. So I got it in a Tupperware bowl, and I'm adding a little at a time. And then you want to stir it quickly. And it's going to lump up like that. So you see the lumps. Man, the smoke is making it hard. So it's lumpy. So now I want to add more water. And don't let it burn. Cannot let it burn or you're going to have burnt gravy. Don't nobody want no burnt gravy. So don't let it burn. So keep stirring. Stir until lumps go away. And then I'm going to have to do the rest of this off camera. But y'all get the gist of it. See how thick it is? So I need to add more water. Make it a little more watery. And then keep adding water and flour until it's the consistency you want. So I'll be back with how it looks after I'm done. So this is where I am so far. If y'all can see how thick it's getting. I just kept adding water. I haven't added any more flour yet because it's real thick already. So I'm going to keep adding water. And the more water I add, the less water it's going to get. You do want to turn your fire down once it starts to thicken, because if you don't, it's going to burn. You're just going to have a burnt mess. So I'm going to finish this up and see, like I said, it's already thick. You can see. So I'm just keep adding more water. And I remember when I first made this, I called it nervous gravy because my mom was teaching me how to make it, and I was so nervous because when you pour the flour in with the hot grease, you have to do this like really fast so it won't burn. But that's when the skillet is real hot. So anyhow, it could be a little hectic to make, but it's worth it. Making your own gravy is so good if you season it right. So anyhow, let me put this camera down. I'm going to go ahead and finish, and I'll show y'all the finished results of it. Okay, y'all. So after much mixing and water and flour adding, I got it to the amount and the consistency that I wanted. I'm trying to show you how it looked. The smoke is in the way. So let me show y'all the consistency of it. So I like thick gravy, so that's how I like mine. Not too thick, not too thin. And you want to make enough to where it's going to cover your meat. Water and flour you add depends on how much meat you have or how much gravy you want to cover that meat. Now, I put more garlic and onion powder in this, but I need to add my base. Yeah. And I'm telling y'all, this stuff is the key ingredient. If you do not have this, you're going to be angry at yourself. You can season it with salt. If push come to shove, that will work, but you're going to have to use a lot of salt. It's better if you use this. Now, when using this, keep in mind this is salty, so you don't want to just dump it in there. You want to add a little at a time and then taste. Add a little more, then taste. So you season it to your liking. But this is what makes the gravy to me. So I'm going to add that in there. So I'm going to add, turn this down. So I'm going to add just a little bit. Just a little. Alright. Then I'm going to stir it in. I might add a little more water to this. This is kind of thick. So stir that in. And then I'm going to taste it. Yeah, I think I'm going to add a little more water. This is a little too thick for me. Yeah, it's getting thicker by the minute. The longer it stays in the heat, the thicker it's going to get. So, hold on. So, here is the final finished product. Thick and creamy homemade beef gravy. Now, I added like two more shakes of the beef bouillon to give it taste, and I added a little more water. Now, to get this consistency, to give you an idea, I used, see, and that's the consistency. I used a 16.9 fluid ounce bottle of water to make all of this, and with the flour and the residue that was in here. So now I'm going to add my meat back in. And then I'm going to let it cover the meat and simmer. And actually I'm going to cut this meat up into little small chunks. And After I cover all the meat, I'm going to let it simmer for about another 20 minutes till the rice is done. And that way the meat will be more tender. So yeah, so after I cut this up, make the rice, you will see the final product, and I am done, people. But yeah, so this is smothered gravy, smothered steak, and it's gonna be put over rice. Now, with the amount of meat I got, I could have stood to use a little more gravy, but this should be good after I cut it up, because right now it's not looking like it's going to be enough, but I know it is, so I made it before. So yep, so see, nice and creamy. Now again, if you don't like the gravy, the key is to keep adding water. And for those of you who don't want to use flour, I believe you can use arrowroot powder. I don't know how it's going to taste using arrowroot powder, because I never use arrowroot powder, but yeah, if you're a gravy person, you'll definitely want to try this homemade gravy. It's a little tedious and it's time consuming, but it's worth it. So anyhow, I'm gonna cut this up, make my rice, and then I'll show y'all the final. All right, bye. So here it is after cutting up the meat. A couple mistakes I made, and I'm going to advise you not to do this. I usually don't do it, but I guess I was just trying to get done. One, the first mistake I made was not letting my meat cook long enough before taking it out the pan. So initially when you're cooking your steak, if it's not tender already, you want to cook it for a little while until it's tender. That way you won't have to simmer it for long once it is done. So that was my first mistake, not cooking it long enough, and it's kind of tough. My second mistake was cutting it up inside the gravy. You want to make sure you cut it before you put it in the gravy, because it was a hassle cutting this up in the pan. So yeah, but besides, and also I had to add a little more water to my gravy because it was too thick to simmer the meat. So had the meat been done, I probably would have still added water because it was still a little thick. But because the meat is tough, I had to add a little more water so it could kind of simmer and make the steak more tender. So yeah. So now I'm about to make some rice to go with the dinner. So you want to have 2 cups of rice, and I'm going to dump it in this pan because this is what I'm going to cook it in. Now, I'm not going to use faucet water to cook it. I'm just using faucet water to do what I'm about to show y'all now. So what you want to do is you want to pre-rinse your rice. That way you can get all the starch off. So just rinse it off, and you see how the water is turning white. So you rinse it off. That's really gross. I hate how it looks, but that's the starch. So you do this like 3 times. Add some more water and just rinse it. Rinse it until the water is almost clear. So just rinse it off. Move the water out the way. Do the same thing. Just manipulate it till the water turns white. And you don't have to do it till the water is completely clear, just until you're satisfied. So I'm going to give it one more rinse. And what this does is it gets the starch off of the rice, and it makes your rice more fluffy instead of sticky. So I'll do it one more time, and then I'm going to add my bottled water to cook it. So just rinse it off. Alright, that should be good. One more time. See, the water is getting clearer and clearer. My dad taught me how to do this. It's still fuzzy, but I'm trying to get done. So Rinse it off. It should be good. Don't pour the rice out like I just did. Pour as much of it off as you can. Alright. So the saying is double your water to every cup. So if you have 2 cups of rice, you want 4 cups of water. But I'm going to do almost 4 cups of water. I'm not going to do 4 cups total. So that's 2 cups, and then I did 3.5 cups of water. Now, so I'm about to boil this on high. The next step I'm doing is optional. I'm cooking seasoned rice with garlic powder, and it's really good. So I added about 2 tablespoons of butter, and I'm going to cook this on high till it starts to boil. Once it starts to boil and you see the white film around it, you want to cover it and cook it for 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, do not take the top off. Leave the top on, take it off the burner, and let it sit for another 10 or 15 minutes. And then after that, you'll have light, fluffy rice. I'm not going to show y'all all that. I'll show y'all the end because I'm tired. Alright, so I'll see y'all in a little bit.